is the Kommissioners Podcast. I'm DJ Gabe.
I'm YungL.
SoundboyT.
And that's Kommissioners with a K.
Welcome to another explosive episode. But before we get into it, how have you guys been?
Hot.
I'm bothered.
Hot.
Yeah.
I want to complain
I'm not going to lie, I'm enjoying the weather though.
But
I'm trying my best to enjoy the weather.
You know, I always love
I feel sorry for anyone who has a car that the AC is not working, babe. I'll say that.
Oh,
yeah.
our car AC, it can be a bit too much sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like the same recycled air blowing. Yeah.
It's the cooler. It's just a lot cooler. Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll leave the fan on and I'll open the windows.
Okay. I don't think you like air conditioning that much, do you? There you go.
Now it's got the, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So it's got that, the allergies and stuff, so I tend to prefer the natural, yes. The natural
air, breeze and that, yeah. So we've got a special guest in the studio today.
Yes, we do.
I feel like our first lady should do the introduction because you do it so well. That
You say that when you don't want to do it, innit, Gabe?
you do it very well, actually.
Okay, so let's introduce our guest. We have a special guest in the building. I got to know about this guest through an artist that I liked. I really enjoyed, YungL.
YungL.
And I used to listen to his music back then, and Chopstiiix was the one that used to produce a number of these tracks. I thought, wow, that's how I got to know Chopstiiix, and it's not just his tracks. He's produced a number of artists' tracks, big tracks.
Yeah.
In big tracks, and we all know the one that I'm going to say, isn't it? He's responsible for.
Yeah.
Because we're still enjoying that track. But yes, he's the one that produced Last. I need to go and show you. Oh, yes.
I didn't remember.
No, I remember. I found for the result.
Okay.
Like you remember then. Okay.
Nothing to discuss.
But yes, he's responsible for a number of amazing tracks. He is an A-class producer, I would say. So we have Chopstiiix in the building.
Chopstiiix! Jeez, welcome. It's been a minute, though.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. Welcome to the studio and welcome to London, because I know you come here regularly.
Yeah.
This is the first time we're having you here.
Yeah.
Welcome.
It's a nice place too.
What, you mean London?
No, yeah, the studio.
That was a trick question.
Yeah.
So on, I think was it last week Thursday, I went to Brixton to catch up with Harry, who's the director at Pop Brixton.
Okay.
And then he said, "Oh, we should just take a walk because I want to go see another venue around the corner,
Right.
where we going to start some parties real soon." And then he was like, "Oh, let's go down to Pop and see," because Haley from Western
Okay.
was having his birthday
Okay.
party.
Okay.
Yeah. So I saw George, who's a video director,
Right.
a renowned video director.
Right.
And it's like, "Oh yeah, he's here with Chopstiiix, let's go say hello." So I went there. I'm like, you've got to come to the Commissioners table, man. You're in London. Yeah,
It's so nice of you to have.
got to come see us. And lo and behold, he's here.
Yeah, because I wanted to do, because when I met Chopstiiix, was at Skills. What year was that?
That was probably 2016.
20? No way.
2016, 2017, I think.
That long ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Yeah, time just flies. Right?
Wow, I didn't know. So 2016 happened. So we met there. I think you were also there.
Yeah, I was there.
At the same time. And I think during COVID, I also reached out to you a couple of times. We wanted to do like one of those live things, but we kept on missing each other, sort of thing. So it's finally good to kind of meet you. Yeah. So I know Tono was telling how he met or was introduced to your sound through YungL. I think I was also introduced to you through the whole Chocolate City, because I know you did a lot of work with Ice Prince and stuff like that, And for me, Chocolate City is like that sort of iconic label in Nigeria that nurtures some of the greatest in terms of hip hop.
Yeah.
You can't talk about hip hop in Nigeria without talking about
mentioning Chocolate City.
Yeah,
Facts.
true.
Facts.
So were you influenced as a producer coming up? Were you influenced by hip hop beats? Because I know a lot of your early beginnings was chopping up a lot of hip hop samples and stuff like
Is that how the name came about?
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, that's part of the reason. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's the main reason. That's the main reason why my name is Choppa. The actual name is Choppa, not even Chopsticks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just,
I actually just said it. Choppa.
Choppa.
Makes sense.
yeah, but then people just remix your name and call you what they want to call you. They stick, so you just have to just go with it.
And you even added a few extra eyes in the sticks.
Exactly. Yeah.
So was that was hip hop your pathway into the whole world of production?
Yeah. So growing up as a young producer, I was heavily influenced by hip hop and dancehall.
Right.
Yeah, because and I think the influence came from like the environment and where we grew up in Jos.
Right.
It has a heavy hip hop, and basically everyone in Jos feels like they live in America because
The weather.
because it's so cold there, and we wear all this big,
Jackets.
exactly. So everyone with the headphones listening to hip hop, reggae. It was just a really really cool lifestyle.
Nice.
So and that kind of influenced the kind of music that we listen to and the type of music that we started producing.
Okay. So you went to school with the famous P Square. Did you know each other at the time, or were you well aware of each other, or you just later found out that you went to the same school?
No, I think they were like 3 years my senior in school at the time. The only time when we were supposed to have like a sort of contact was when we the juniors were supposed to go for like a inter-school competition, music competition, and they were supposed to come coach us or something like that. But it never happened. Yeah, but yeah, I literally witnessed them like rehearse and work and
Nice.
their way to the point where they left Jos to move to Lagos to carry on with their career as well.
If he was here and was talking about the same
Thing, yeah. He sat on that same seat and just spoke about Jos, and I think there's something in the water there.
It's just the environment. It's just so peaceful, man. It just lets you create. It's not chaotic. It's not chaotic. There's certain places that you go to. There's just noise and there's
It's like Lagos.
Yeah, Lagos is kind of like it's just chaos. Lagos literally survive off of chaos. Yeah.
You can't take it.
Yeah, it needs chaos to
Yeah, to kind of flourish. But that's the question. So people move from a place where they can create into a place of chaos.
Yeah.
I don't understand. So why do people move to Lagos rather than stay in somewhere like Jos?
So while we were in Jos, we were already big because we literally had all the songs on the charts were either produced by me or by one of the artists that I'm working with or affiliated with. So we were all just owned the space, and we felt like we were just big artists in a small town. You can't be a local player for
yeah, it's true.
Especially if you're trying to take your career seriously, then you have to go to where it's popping, like where the center, the hub. So we figured Lagos is literally the music hub of Africa, and it was time to move to Lagos.
Let's move it back a bit, because Gabe mentioned he met you with 2016 with Skills. T also has his own her own reference.
Yeah.
But what I want to understand is, my introduction to your sound was through Ice Prince.
Yes.
Yeah. So I may be recent, or probably you've been all grinding well before then.
Yeah.
Let's take it back a bit, to how it all started. Like your sound being influenced by hip hop.
Yeah.
In the township itself, were there producers that you looked up to, or people that how it all got started for you?
Yeah, like this is you're talking about like back in Jos.
Yeah. I mean, like your career in general.
Yeah. So back in Jos, there's a guy. He's like I told you, we used to listen to a lot of hip hop and reggae, and dancehall. Yeah. There's a whole dancehall culture in Jos. There's a group of people that you probably think they're Jamaicans or they're from Jamaica. Yeah.
Interesting.
They live the lifestyle, And there's a guy called Device. He's a producer and an artist.
Right.
Yeah, and it was through him that I was able to get a lot of reggae and dancehall records, and even got into producing dancehall as well. Yeah, and I would say he's one of the producers that I used to look up to, or that I looked up to while I was coming up as a producer.
Right.
And then outside of that, I would say J Dilla.
That's a purist.
You see, when a man tells me about J Dilla as an influence,
you know where he's going.
I have to doff my cap for you.
Yeah, because I would listen to his records and they just, it feels different from the rest of the other hip hop records that I would listen to. And I was able to connect with how he sampled, because I really loved to. So, anyways, sampling is a whole conversation that we'll have separately. But there's a being able to listen to a song or a record and having the ability to hear another record within that record.
Yes,
is I feel like it's a superpower. Yeah, exactly. And that was just a beautiful art to me, and I fell in love with it. And I listened to a lot of J Dilla, Kanye West, DJ Premier, and just a lot of these hip hop producers, Timbaland as well.
Yeah. I'm one of these guys who I'm always starstruck when I meet a producer rather than the artist.
Yeah.
I prefer when I used to collect CDs and albums and vinyls. Yeah. When I used to want to know who the producer first, before the artist, because I think it's just magical.
Yeah.
The way they put things together, so me, I always like to talk to the producer because I always like to know where their head is at.
Because that's the origin of the music.
Exactly.
That's where it starts from.
Yeah.
Because creating is one thing, but also being able to recreate something that has been done before. People downplay the hard work that goes into sampling. Getting the right record, and then let's educate the public a bit, because you sometimes hear these things like, particularly like Burna's case. He's using the other people's music. The people that really don't understand the art of sampling.
Yeah.
As a producer, what would you say to such people?
I would say that first things first, they don't, like you said, they don't understand what it means to sample. They don't understand that it's an art. It's like I would say it's like if I'm trying to describe it in like art, like a real art term,
Sure.
it will be a mosaic where you take pieces of other like pictures and letters and they put it together and make a new piece of art. You're not creating it from scratch. You're just taking pieces of art from different art.
Right.
Yeah, that's basically what sampling is. You're taking pieces of sound and lyrics or whatever from other music, and you're piecing it together in a new audio form to make a new record. That's basically what it is, an art, basically. That's what it is. And not everyone can do it. Yeah.
I think it's simple.
Yeah.
So myself and Tola had this very, I don't know if you remember this, on Friday, we had this very deep conversation. I don't know if you remember this conversation I'm about to say. On Friday, we spoke and we were talking about you, actually.
Yeah.
And I think I was fascinated, and which I was telling Tola about, is that, after the whole last, I'm sure that obviously the floodlights would have opened, the gates would have, people would have called. But I think I still see you as one of that producers who wasn't fazed by everything. You still kept your feet to the ground, so to speak. Yeah. And it takes a certain skill set and a certain intention not to be kind of get carried away with that, because I'm sure a lot of producers have had a similar success, but they've just gone with the wind.
Yeah.
Just followed that fame, followed everything. You, on the other hand, you didn't do that. You stood grounded. How were you able to do all of that when all that was going on? Because I'm sure, all that would have been going on like, oh my gosh, I need this guy.
Yeah.
How were you able to do that?
Two things, actually. The first one is, right from when I started making music, there's a goal I have in mind of what my idea of success is, and that's still in my mind. Till I get to that point, nothing's gonna shake me or make me, be out of, character or go out of my route to where I'm trying to get to. That's one. And then the second one is, I've seen this thing happen over and over and over and over and over again.
Right.
But it's just been replicated. It just happened in bigger, and it gets bigger every time it happens. So the first time it happened was when back in Jos, basically, like I said earlier.
Sure.
We would make records that would literally blow up in the entire town. That would be what everyone is listening to. You walk into a store, you go to a point where, because we're remaking music tracks, songs. We'll pick a record that people actually love, and then we'll remake it and send it to the radio station, and like it gets played. it got to the point where we will go live on air in the morning because we had a friend who worked in the radio station.
Right.
So he was of good help. His name is Tola, funny enough. I did Tola, yeah.
People, so Tola are good people, you know.
Yeah. We would go to the radio station there where he worked and get on air and have people call in to tell us what song to recreate.
Oh wow!
Yeah, nice. And then they give us a few options, and then we make them vote, and we pick the song that they want us to recreate, and we get in the studio, record, produce, mix, master everything within 24 hours, and have it back on air. Play.
No way!
Yeah, we were doing that. Yeah, so I feel like that was practice for whatever we're doing right now. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Quick turnaround.
Yeah, so we were doing that for a while, but it got to a point where we're like, YungL also had. YungL had a song on #1 for months, so we're literally the only people making music and just topping the charts. And it got to a point where it felt like monopoly. You felt like we have to just get out of that space.
It felt like Dangote.
Yeah, and let other people, yeah. So it was Ice Praise, MI, India, YungL, J Miller, Jesse Jags. Everyone had a song on the chart. So imagine having a chart of like 10 songs. And it's all our songs on the chart. Wow. Yeah, and it's not once, it's every time, So we just figured like if we're trying to do this thing for real, we just have to move to where the big players are doing it and conquer there as well.
So were you guys like friends before then?
We've always been friends. We've always been friends. We all met through music. Either from sharing similar taste of music or making similar type of music. Because first time I met India was at he came to. He I think he was trying to apply to work in a radio station. Usually they will tell you to send in your it's like a recording yourself, like a demo presentation or something. So he came to the studio where I worked,
right,
to record himself, and then we just started talking and we just connected from there, and we became instant friends. And that studio where I worked was where the person that got me to work there is Abuchi is currently the CEO of CHOPSTIX.
I know Abuchi, yeah.
Abuchi used to be a sound engineer. He used to mix and master. He taught me how to actually mix and master.
Yeah.
And we mixed and mastered Aboki together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Ice Praise is Aboki.
Yes.
Because we took it to a couple of people to mix. That song was mixed and mastered 15 times.
Whoa.
Yeah, we weren't happy with the results we were getting. So Abuchi just told me, let's just stay in the studio and do this thing by ourselves because we know what we want. Let's just sit down and tweak it till it sounds like how we want it to sound. Yeah, anyway, so just not to divert. Anyway, so YungL, I met him through one of our mutual friends who actually currently lives in London now. He's like a family friend to me, and he told me, this guy is my friend, he's an artist, I want you to meet him. I knew you're producing as well. I'm like, yeah, let me meet him. So I met YungL, I gave him a CD of beats that I had already made, like a beat tape, basically. Yeah. So I told him to listen to it, that if he likes any of the tracks, let me know, we can record it. And then he took it home. And so I saw him a couple of days after, and he told me, I don't like any of this song, this is trash.
See your face.
Yeah. YungL is straight, he's straight up. And that's why I love him so much. Man. He was not going to like.
But at the time, you probably were thinking.
Yeah, so yeah, but because of the type of person that I am, if you tell me my song or my music or my art is trash, I'm not going to take offense. That's how it hits you. And I'm just going to go back and think, okay, you don't like it. And then I'll figure out how to make you like, that's what I'll do. So I went back, I said, cool, no problem. I took the CD from him because he wasn't going to record it. Mind you, when that was happening, he had a song on radio that was #1 for weeks.
What song was that?
His song is titled Ewo.
Ewo?
Yeah, it's an Igbo song mixed with like English. He was already a superstar,
right.
Because he was performing his shows,
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, so I went back home, got back in the studio, I started banging out some other beats. The next time I met him, I gave him a CD again with some songs burnt on it, and he took it. When he came back, I was like, bro, are you sure you're the one that baked this? I'm like, yeah. He recorded all the tracks, all of them, and we just, that's how we connected as well. And I valued his, I value his honesty. YungL is the type of person, and I'm straight up honest with him like that as well. When he sends me a song and that I feel like it's not up to, like SOS, for example, the story behind SOS.
I love SOS.
Yeah, the chorus on SOS was his third attempt. Yeah, because when I made the beat sent to him, he recorded, sent it back, because we were in the same space at the time.
Okay.
I was like, nah, this is not, because one thing as a producer, once you hear what is to be on the beat, you would know instantly, So I told him, no, this is not it. This is good. This chorus is good, but it's not for this song. It's probably for another song. And he was looking at me like, bro, you know how long it took? Bro, just take your time, go back and work on it, try to write something else. And then he tried. Second attempt, I didn't like it still, and And then the third time I told him to just chill, that when he comes back to Lagos, then we can just say it together, And YungL is the type of person that he loves challenge. Yeah. So he's like me as well. Like if you tell him that he will go back and try to make notes.
Right. Right.
So the third time he recorded, instantly he just worked. He just sat on the beats perfectly how it's supposed to. And I told him, and I played him the 3 versions. I'm like, listen to it for yourself, And since then, but like whenever, so most of the artists that I work with, I like the fact that I'm able to also, contribute as a producer, let them know and guide them, and just, because sometimes some things that you spend a lot of time on, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to still go with it. If it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. It just has to work. The fact that you spent 5 days writing a song, if it doesn't sit well on the beat, it just doesn't sit well. Just go back and try it again.
Right. Some people, like, they say that the song is only new when it's released, isn't it?
Exactly.
Because it might take like 3 years. You hear artists or producers talk about how they've worked on this for like years. And they just keep tweaking it.
Yeah.
Being in a studio as well, sometimes you can just drive you insane.
Yeah.
If you're not really for it.
Yeah. If you're not cut out for it.
Yeah, if you're not cut out for it, because you hear the same loop
over and over,
and then when it comes out, because I've been to places where like studio sessions. I remember one particular one, Afrobeat. They kept playing the song at the same time. So I'm like, and I kept saying to them that, I'm going to have a different reaction to it when I play it on the radio than anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. Because of your relationship with
Yes, because I've seen the production of it. Yeah, the process and, how many, takes, how many tweaks, things they need to take out, the back and forth in the booth and all of that stuff. It's really an art,
Yeah, it really an art. You have to really love it to be able to do it. If you don't love it, after a while, it's going to frustrate you. If you're just going to get tired and get frustrated and be like, nah, I'm not doing this anymore. I'll go do something else. Probably.
So before we go forward, just want to take you back further than Teddy back.
Sure.
No, Teddy took him back to. But I just wanted to know, how did you know you wanted to be in music?
Okay.
Growing up, how did you know?
Yeah. So
was the way.
Growing up, me and my brother, my mom bought us this toy piano, that has a mic connected to it. It has a speaker, so you can actually sing and hear yourself. And that was just mind blowing to me. I'm like, yo, this is amazing. Like, it was a toy basically. We're just playing with it. And then when I got older, when I was like 13 years old, I joined the church choir.
Okay.
Illegally because I didn't go through the right process. You're supposed to register and pay a certain fee and then join. But I was so in love with the piano that I wanted to learn how to play. So I had a friend who was already a keyboardist in the church. So he was my really good friend. So he told me, bro, when we're going for practice, just come with me and I can just teach you some stuff. So I kept going with him and just assimilated with the band. And the band leader didn't know that I wasn't an official member.
Right.
So every Sunday we would rehearse every Saturday before the before the thing on Sunday, before the service on Sunday, and I realized that every Sunday they would play only one style of music, which was high life, and after the service, the choir or the band would have like a meeting just to talk about like what next meeting, next practice, and just talk about stuff. And while that was happening, I was sitting down in the meeting, and I would have just shut my mouth up. So I was sitting down there, I was listening to them talk, and it was time for people to just bring suggestions and opinions and stuff. And I raised my hand and I said, why don't we try to play other genres of music, like maybe reggae or something else, rather than high life every Sunday. And the band leader looked at me like, who is this? Who is that? Are you a member? Like, who's this person? How did you get in here?
Who let you in the building?
Yeah, so I just shut my mouth up. And I'm like, I was studying. He's like, are you an official member? Like, no. It's like, yo, get your things and get out.
Oh,
and that's how I got kicked out of the church band. But luckily for me, the school where I was, that's a school that P Square also finished from. Our principal at the time was a music lover. So he built us a studio in the school. That was probably the only school that has a studio.
I was going to say, yeah.
So the studio was split into two. It had a live section and a recording, like a digital recording section. Prior to that, I'd been to a few live studios. They record live, all the instruments. You have all the instrumentalists come in and they record everything live. And so we would every Friday we have band rehearsals with the school band. And on this day, I was there early with one of my friends. I was playing the bass guitar, and he was, we're just rehearsing, waiting for the rest of the band members to join us. And I could hear music from the other room. And I knew for a fact that at the time I didn't know that was another studio. I just thought we had only the live section there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, who's playing music? So I opened the door and just peeked, and I saw this guy on a chair with a computer in front of him, those box TV computer, and the desktop, just the desktop unit, and he was programming music all by himself.
Wow. All
the instruments. So I used to think that to produce music, you need to get everyone in the room and produce it. But I'm looking at this guy doing this thing by himself, just one man producing this lovely sound, So while I was speaking, and then he looked back and saw me, and he told me to come in, So I came in, he told me to sit down. So I sat beside him, just a little behind him. And it was just so amazing. I just watched him work, It was mind-blowing to me. And while he was working, I was asking him questions, and he explained a few things. And I think his name is Clemens. He was an older guy.
Right.
Yeah, and he gave me his copy of FL Fruity Loops 3 at the time.
I was going to say, was that your introduction to Fruity Loops?
Yes, yeah. Because I was asking, like, what is this? How does it work? Like, what? Because I never knew you could make music from a computer.
Right.
All I knew that you could do with computer was, because I used to do like art designs and stuff, like type and whatever. That's all I thought you could do with the computer. I didn't know you could make music with it, So he gave me a copy of the software, his copy of the software. I took it home. I didn't have a computer system at the time.
Right.
Yeah. So we would take it to my friend's house, who used to be a dancer for P Square at the time. His mom had a computer in her room, and she was a teacher. Okay. So we would get home before she gets home, maybe like an hour before she gets home, and then we installed it on her system. We'll go into her room. His older brother will stand at the gate to watch out for when she's before she gets back. So we're just just tweaking and just playing with it, just to figure it. So I self-taught myself how to use Fruity Loops. Yeah, we're teaching ourselves, how to just work around the software. And after a while, he lost interest, because that's not what he's into. He's a dancer, and that's what he loved. So I took the software home, told my mom about it, and she gave me some money as well. Like I was able to come up with some money. She gave me some money I added. And I built my own, my first computer, yeah. So I bought the case, bought the motherboard, just put it together. It was cheaper to do it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than buying a full set, yeah. Those old computers, yeah.
Yes.
So I built my own set, set up everything, and I installed the software and just continued learning. And I was making a lot of noise in the house. My mom was directly opposite my room. Today, I don't even know why she did, chase me out of the house, because I was making too much noise. I'm just thinking about it now. I was actually making a lot of noise.
Ever did she come into your room and say, turn that thing down?
Yeah, no, she would come in, but instead of reacting that way, she would sit beside me and watch. Like it was amazing to her. She was like, what are you doing? Like, what is this?
Right.
So I also explained to her like that, this is me. I'm trying to make some music, blah, blah, blah. But it was exciting. So I started self-teaching myself. I would listen to a lot of music and try to recreate it as well. I have a friend whose name is Efe. He's late now. He used to get me CDs. He'll buy like CDs and like hip hop albums, R&B albums, reggae albums. He'll bring them in like cartons, like tons and tons of CDs, just for me to listen to music. So what I started doing is, because of the default sound that comes with, because I didn't like the default sound that came with the software. Yeah. I needed to make my sound like what I hear on radio. Like when I play CD, I'm like, I like this snare, I like this kick. So what I would do is I would listen to a song and listen for a part where the snare just stands by itself.
Yeah.
And then I would chop that snare and keep it. I have one snare sample. So I kept doing that for all the records, all the CDs I have, you know. It got to a point where I started listening to a lot of Timbaland records, and I'll chop his kicks, chop his snares, vocal samples.
Timbaland has a different bounce.
Yeah. Then I started listening to J Dilla. Then I realized what sample it was, because I didn't even know that was what I was doing there.
Right.
Then I started listening with intentions. I was like, okay, well, this is cool. Then I started listening to Kanye, you know. So I just started, researching, just falling in love with it a lot more. At the end of the day, I think I ended up having like a whole hard drive of just samples.
Wow.
Yeah, and every time I produced, my sound just sounded different from the rest of the people
That's true.
Even to this day, I mean, I remember when I heard Kilometer.
Yeah.
As a DJ, man. I like, what? What are you telling me?
The clarity on that sound is...
Yeah, it was very intentional, yeah.
But your sound has been like that, though. You have something that just, it's like one of those sort of punch to your chest.
Yeah, because I wanted people to feel music how I felt it, because I love how I feel it, So, and I feel like if you feel it the same way, you also love it, that same way. So I just wanted to just recreate that every time I make music.
Amazing.
Because, sometimes if you listen to them in this crappy speakers or headphones, you tend to think, the sound is nice.
Yeah.
But then play it where you can really appreciate it. Play it where you appreciate it. And Kilometer was, I think it was like one of those, like out of the blue singles that just...
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of my favorite songs, and well, when we made that song...
Was that your first time working with Burna?
No. I've done a bunch of songs about it.
Okay.
And we got this massive space. Just this, it was like a resort, one house in the middle of nowhere. In Ghana, yeah.
In Ghana, wow.
There's a whole lake behind the house, so we had neighbors ready to disappoint anybody,
So you went to town.
I think I want when you're done with your thing, we'll talk about how much Ghana means to a lot of these.
Oh, I love Ghana. Ghana's like my second home.
that peace, that tranquility that you have in Jos.
You find in Ghana, exactly. And that was
I know. Which one's closer, Accra or Jos to Lagos?
To Lagos,
that's a good question.
Accra is actually, because when I get on the phone,
exactly. So it's closer to Lagos.
The plane, you take off and you're landing immediately. So,
but Jos is all the way.
Yeah, Jos is like an hour. Yeah, an hour 20 minutes. I think. Yeah, but Accra is like 45.
So you're quicker to go to Accra than to go to Jos.
Exactly.
So you were saying.
Yeah, so he got this place, this house, and then we got like some massive speakers. Those festival speakers. Big.
No way.
Big speakers here. So we set them up behind the house where the pool was, and it was just facing the water.
Right.
And what we did was...
So did you guys live on that resort?
Yeah, we were there. We camped there for a while, made music there, and then when we're done, we left. It was just out of town.
Right.
Just away from it.
How long? Or like at that area?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we were there for like a month.
Wow.
So yeah. A couple of days, yeah.
Wow.
And so we would make the music. As soon as we were done, while we're done, so Kilometer, basically, I was sitting on, it was recorded on the couch, basically. I was sitting on the couch right here.
Running mouth.
Yeah, I was playing some beats. And it was just vibing, because once Burna connects once he hears what he loves, the music just comes. It just flows. He doesn't write.
Right.
It's one of those people that they write in their mind. Like I don't know if you've seen Jay-Z voice.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I didn't know he had that gift.
One of the only people that I know that worked that way, that I don't know personally, but I've also heard of that works, is Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, yeah.
They write in their mind. It's not like a freestyle, like you're literally saying things that you would write, and it makes actual sense. You get me? So I was just playing beats and he was vibing, kill me. I'm like, bro, this is exactly what I want to hear on this beat. I told him, bro, let's just record it. Like, no, don't worry, I won't forget. I'm like, we'll record it later. I'm like, are you sure you don't? Like, don't worry, we'll record it later. Something just told me, you know what? Just go and get the mic and set it up here and let this guy record it. So I went in the so we're using the cinema room as a studio, because it was treated there. Acoustics were good. So I went in there, got the sound card and the mic and set it up for him. and he just recorded it there. So I just wanted him to put it down, so I knew at least I have something.
Yeah, to work from. Yeah, a template.
And he just did it, you know.
In one.
Yeah, and then went back, finished up the beat. The beat wasn't finished. Most of the record I done with Burna, he finishes before me. Lyrics are done, then I'll have to finish up the beat on over it. Maybe that's the reason why the music sounds the way it sounds.
Yeah,
because it works together.
Right.
Yeah. So they left me to go back to work on it. So I was working on it. When I was done, it was evening. So I wanted to do a sound check. Came out, everyone was at the pool. Came out, put the sound. There was a DJ jamming on the speakers. So I plugged my laptop, pressed play, and bruh,
the whole place just erupted.
I couldn't believe how big the sound was.
Yeah.
I knew it was big on the speakers on the monitors, but to hear it on those speakers, it was amazing.
I can just picture that moment, because that sound is it rips.
Yeah.
I mean, if you play it in a club or
That's my go-to when you want to kind of give it.
Yeah, give it to them.
To be a record that once you press play, even if there's a dull moment in the club where everyone is just, once you press play and that record comes, it would wake you up from the row. Boom, 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 boom. It wakes you up. It's like, okay, it's party time.
Yeah,
Choppa, you know, your tracks, you know, as a DJ, I appreciate it the most, you know, because you give us time to mix it in.
Of course.
Yeah. You did it with a DJ in mind.
Yeah. Very, very deliberate. Every producer should be best friends with DJs.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
because
tell them again.
Yeah, every producer should be best friends with DJs. We should make tracks that it should be easy for DJs to play.
DJ friendly.
And to mix as well, yeah. Sometimes we'll give you like a 4-bar loop.
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So we appreciate that. We love double that.
Yeah.
Make it 8. You know, we have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
But you know, it's we here with Chopstiiix. You know, he's cemented his name in the good books of producers around the world.
Yeah.
You know, I know. Gabe did talk about Fab when he was out here. That we deliberately said we're not going to talk about Peru, but a snack in some way.
Well, we came from a different angle, and I think he appreciated the angle we came from.
So last, safe to say that's like the biggest records in terms of numbers, and it's the biggest records you've made, right?
I think for Burna Boy as well, actually.
Yeah.
He's most successful.
Yeah. But it's such a crossover. We all know the original track, you know, and seeing Tony Braxton and Burna on stage do that song was
such an amazing moment.
Was like, the icing on the cake.
Things dreams are made of.
Exactly.
You know, I know you were young. When you were young, you were an admirer of Tony Braxton, like many of us were, right?
I'm still out. You know,
that's one of the moments I'm going to tell my kids about.
Exactly.
So I'm shaking hands. I'm not going to wash my hands for weeks. Yeah, I'm just going to keep you up there. But you have such a big record. You know, 2 questions I want to ask. When you were in the studio creating that, did you think of that, like see it like as how big it turned out to be? I know that as a producer, you obviously would want your songs as huge as ever, but did you ever see it the way the world received it?
Yeah, so there's certain records that you make, and you don't necessarily know how people are gonna receive it, and you just put it out there and people just receive it. But there's certain other records that you make, and you just know, you just know that this is going to be a problem, you know. And as soon as we're done and we're replaying the track just to listen to it again, it was just me and Burna in the studio. And he just looked at me like, bro.
Both looked at each other.
People say, yeah, I know.
Are you ready for this sort of earthquake?
Oh, he asked you.
Yeah. And we just knew, man. You know, and Burna is someone who's very visual with his sound in his mind, because he was already, you know, visualizing how he was going to
probably calling video directors already.
No, he called the video director that night to come the next morning to shoot the video.
Wow.
And with Clarence Peters, one of the biggest video directors in Nigeria. But Clarence was like, bro, I can't just pull up and I have to do a treatment after. But I was like, no, don't worry. I don't want it to be overproduced. I just want it. I'm going to direct it. I'm going to, you know, shoot it in my house with my cars and my guys and everything. I'm sure Clarence, where he was thinking, what's wrong with this guy? Like, what do you So he sent one of his boys, came with the Blackmagic 6K pocket. Like, it's one of the small cameras. And Burna actually directed the video, shot everything in his house.
Right.
You know, yeah. And everything, I feel like the production, the video, everything was done within 24 hours.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what I want to ask about that, Soul, did you guys know that it was going to kind of like be taken as, because the song was taken as though it was like a breakup song, Steph London and Burna Boy breakup. Him being separate. Did you feel that it was going to be taken that way? Was that how it was meant to be taken?
Usually with Burna Boy's music, people receive it how they want to receive it, because most of his songs are about he puts in his experiences and his reality into his music, basically. So if you listen to Last, if you actually listen to the lyrics, he's just talking about, it's like a recap of things that's happened to him, and I guess people just picked on what they wanted to pick on,
of course.
And just ran with it, but it wasn't intentionally a heartbreak song. But I guess it is what it is.
It is what it is, right? It is what it is. If you're just joining us, this is the Commissioners with a K. I'm DJ Gabe.
YungL.
SoundboyT. And we're here
in the studio with the one and only superstar Chopstiiix, El Choppa, to be precise. I think El Choppa is he's up there because,
I think that's going to be my new name now, El Choppa.
I remember where you got that name.
Yes. So, I think with the growth of Afrobeats, what tends to happen is the focus is always on the artist. It's never on the producer. But I think with this, there's a new wave of what I would call super producers that are coming through, that are holding their own, that even having them on the track is actually good for you. So you will be silly not to mention that they're the ones that produced it. And I think El Choppa's up there, SARS is up there.
Of course.
There are a couple of other producers that's up there, And the question I wanted to ask is, I know you're one of these sort of people who just let the music do the talking, but was there a bit of you also wanted to be recognized for the music that you do and the stuff that you create as well?
Yeah, so for me, it's like, for me, this thing is like art for me, because I was an artist even before I became a musician. I used to draw and paint. If you see my art and you see my signature on it and you're able to recognize it, that's good enough for me. Yeah, it's not, but the music is not about me. It's bigger than me, it's bigger than the artist, it's bigger than anybody that's involved in it. It's not about any of us. It's about creating a culture. It's about feeding people's souls and emotions and stuff. It's never been about we're just vessels, basically. So whether I'm recognized for it or not, it doesn't really matter. It wouldn't change anything. It wouldn't change the greatness of the music. It wouldn't change anything. So that's why I don't really. I would, to be honest, I would actually prefer to just. I don't think I'm gonna say. I don't think I'm gonna say that.
Please, you have to say it now.
Collect your check. I'm gonna finish it for you. Collect my check in peace.
To be famous is not the goal.
Yes.
But it just happens that when you make great stuff, when you make great art,
seek you out.
fame comes with it.
Yeah.
But fame is not what I'm chasing. I'm just trying to make great art. Just trying to make music.
But now, you see a lot of the. Sorry. I was gonna say, you see a lot of the American artists, now. They're chasing where the sound is, because if you want, you can't recreate it. I mean, if you're not born with that ear, or you're not born with that rhythmic drums, you can't just get up.
It would always sound the
same. Yeah. No. So now they're rather chasing the producers, the Afrobeat producers. You understand? So after such a trajectory, you've hit a high. Your phone book definitely must be.
Oh yeah,
well loaded.
Like I said, this is something that's happened several times. Even when I made Aboki with Icebergs, Aboki was such a big tune, and I would have people call my phone and tell me, please, I want you to make me a beat exactly like Aboki. And I'll always turn them down. Like, no, I don't recreate. I'm not going to recreate what I've done. Every song that I've produced is one of one. So I'm like, but we can make something else. So and I don't blame them. It's because people just want to recreate greatness. They just want, this works. Okay,
try to test it.
Yeah, let's just
save us time. Yeah,
but I'm not the type to just replicate. I mean, you can replicate processes, but you cannot replicate the art itself. Yeah, just let the art just be the art.
Right.
But if you figured out the process to get to greatness, just do the process and get to a different goal each time. But just have working process.
So you said something, and I'm going to be a devil's advocate. You said you can't replicate the art, but Last was a sound on its own. So what role did you play within that, in the sense that wasn't that to a larger extent replicated and it interpreted?
Yeah. But wait, from the original, from
when you created it, you gave it your own interpretation and your own version of the art.
Yeah.
And you said art cannot be replicated. So I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here.
So when I say replicate is like duplicate. Sorry.
Right.
That's what.
Gotcha.
That's what I should say.
Okay.
It should not be duplicated.
Right.
Or, I mean, you can make a different version.
Gotcha.
Of it.
Yeah. Variations. Giving your own interpolation and interpretation.
But people will come to me and say, "I want it."
Exactly.
No, that cannot happen.
No.
But I wouldn't even want that for you.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like they feel like it's a shortcut because it's a journey well trodden.
Yeah,
they've gone down that path and they feel like, oh, this is a quick win for us. Let's just do this, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's happened with Aboki. Even when SOS happened, the same thing. You know, even when Kilometer happened, people wanted me to make beats like Kilometer. But I've seen it happen like over and over. So same thing with Last. It just happened that Last is just covered wide end.
So I'm not going to take it back. I'm going to take it for a larger extent. So I think the first time you worked with Burna Boy was when he came to record his vocals for Gimme That, right?
Yes.
And the second time you worked with him, correct me if I'm wrong, is when you did Rockstar.
Facts.
Right, okay. So when did you now finally get that call to work on? So did you have a couple? Because there's something else happened in that phase. You worked on a few of his albums, and there was one that was actually shelved called Gaddafi.
Oh yes, yeah.
Now, we're not going to see the light of day with that Gaddafi, but it's a very interesting. But can you talk about that
project?
It was a project
Yeah.
So why do you feel like that was shelved? Why are we going to hear?
I don't feel like I have enough information to actually speak about that.
Right. Okay.
But whatever the plan is for that, I think it would be Burna be in the best position to actually speak about.
Right.
Yeah, but we definitely we're working on an album, or worked on a couple of songs.
Right.
On an album called Gaddafi.
Right.
Which was a very, 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 very dope album. You know, and that was the first time I started working on a project. You know, with like a body of like collection of songs.
Right.
Usually we're just like one-off. But that was the first time we got into actually do a project together, and just amazing songs.
So because you did that project, do you feel like you now know? Because like I was asking you before we actually started, of the chemistry between artists and producer. You know, do you feel like you and Burna now have that sort of chemistry because of your years of working on so many things?
Yeah. Also the fact that we now understand how we work in the studio, in music wise. Outside of the studio, we're really good friends. You know, Burna is someone that has had my back a couple of times. You know, we're actually really, really, really good friends, and it helps me even be able to create music for him easier, because now I understand him. Now I understand the relationship, because I feel like he's actually a misunderstood person. When you meet him in person and you're his friend, and you guys spend time together, you would actually understand that this guy is actually misunderstood. You know, a lot of times. You know,
right?
Yeah, when he speaks, and people tend to catch on to it later. You know,
right.
In life. But as soon as we connected, I just knew, that. Okay, I get where you're coming from.
Right.
You know, I understood it.
Right.
So usually I like to connect with my artists that way, because it makes it easier for me to make music for them. Because now I can make the type of music that fits, your personality, that because you have to be able to carry the sound. Yes. You have to be able to body it and just be, because that's how I see music basically. It's like you're branding the person. You can't make music and not really look like your music. You can be a rock star and look like a make rock. You can't actually, but it's just better for you to just body what you do. Just leave it and just let it be a lifestyle.
Absolutely. So what's next for El Choppa?
There's so much. It's a lot.
There's a lot of last that hasn't been released yet.
So my favorite songs haven't been released yet.
Well, is it the artist sitting on them more?
No, it's just,
or just label.
By time it's gonna come out.
Oh, it's not label politics.
No, it's just a matter of time.
Oh, matter of time. You know, I know. Before we even round up, I want us to talk about this Ghana bit. You know, first.
Yes.
You know, as a Ghanaian ambassador here.
I need to get that in somewhere.
So, what's your favorite part then in Ghana?
I've been to Tema. I've been to Osun.
Well, did R2Bs take you to Tema? Or?
No.
Okay.
I've been to there's an area where I stayed for a while. It's called Kaswa. It's like way out of town.
Yeah.
And then
how did you manage that traffic to that place?
yeah, this always mad. Okay.
All that mess.
Well, usually when I visit most African countries, I like to go like to those places that are away from like the city and the devil.
Yeah.
I want to just see what it is. I want to see the nature. I want to see the people there, because that's what inspires me to just maybe to make music and create the type of sound that they would connect with. So but usually Accra is where I usually touch down whenever I'm in Ghana. Because Accra is just lovely, man, just peaceful, and the people are just so beautiful and so
Very laid back.
But I thought
when I went to Jamaica and landed in Jamaica, I felt like I was in Ghana.
No, that makes sense then. That makes total sense.
I love Jamaica so much, because
That makes total sense. You know, there are a lot of Jamaicans in Ghana, right?
Yeah.
and they love Ghana.
And even the names.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, the names of some of the places are like, like when you go to the mountain areas, they have like similar names.
Yeah.
So
wow, it's the maroons.
they were direct from the source. Yeah, from Ghana.
Yeah.
And that's why I reached Amali.
Getting back in Ghana.
Interesting. I've always wanted to visit Jamaica.
Well, you should. Even if it's...
I love Ghana, by the way.
Yeah.
So the music as well. We had Sparrow here. Talked about the same thing.
Yeah.
That he intentionally went there to release this. Who's your guy? They went there purposely to release that.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of artists go to Ghana test their music. What is it about Ghanaians and the music that they feel? A lot of artists feel that when it's accepted there, it means it's ready to go.
We go nuclear, basically.
Ghanaians are just happy people, and happy people would receive. Will receive honestly. They won't receive it because they're trying to make you feel good about yourself. They won't receive it because they're trying to follow a trend. They will receive it because they actually mess with it. Like they love it. That's what they receive it is. So I guess that's why people go there to test and just see what the reaction is. And if they receive it and they receive it honestly, you would know for a fact that
you call one.
I'm good there.
Yeah.
I think that might be the reason why.
Yeah, because I've always wondered, musically, now that we have a lot of options, but the country has always been like music dominated. There is a lot of different type of sounds, and then like the streets in particular.
Yeah.
That I always tell artists that I come in contact with that you have to shift your focus and direct that to the street DJs. Those who are playing on the streets, the bars, the corners. The outdoor rings, all those street DJs.
Yeah,
because they make the hits.
Next hit, yeah.
They really make the hit. Not the club DJs, not the radio DJs. The guys on the street are the ones actually. So if you're able to get through to them and then they have your music there, you gone clear, man.
So
we always come in at the same time. So I want to ask, like, I'm sure a lot of people reach out to you for you to produce for them. How do you decide, or how do you choose who you produce for and who you don't produce for? Or do you have somebody that does that for you?
No, I do that myself. But obviously they will reach out to either directly to me or through my management. But when it gets to me, I have to pick who I want to work with. I just pick people that I feel like I can make the best of the music with. Yeah.
Okay, but do you listen to them? Do you listen to this? Okay.
I have to listen to it.
Okay.
Possibly I will listen to all your songs, everything you've ever recorded. Because I need to hear how,
For some artists, that's a lot, though.
Yeah, it's part of the job for me as a producer.
Because there's a progression.
Sure.
I need to be able to see how you've moved from where you started to where you are now.
Okay.
I need to be able to see where you're going, with your sound. That's why sometimes I like to speak to the artist and just connect with them. And I need to see where you're going so I can just help you get there easily. Yeah.
One of the things that we don't see much of, particularly within the African industry, is producers collaborating on tracks. You know?
Oh yeah, no, I'm open to collaborations. For the song that got me my first Grammy nomination, it was a collaboration
with.
There's a producer called TMX, who's such a great guy.
Why do I know that name?
TMX, yeah, you would know him.
I know that name.
Yeah, TMX is such a talented guy, and and then there's another producer on the track called GMK.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me just give you a quick story of how that happened. GMK had a sample on his laptop, in his sound pack, and he was just going through it, and TMX was with him in the studio and heard the sample.
Right.
He was like, "Yo, are you gonna use the sample for anything? And can I do something with it?" GMK was like, "Yeah, you can have it." And then he gave it to TMX, and TMX made a beat with the sample. And he, at the time I was still recording with Burna, so he reached out to me to say, I would like to get Burna on his record, you know, and he was currently working with I think it was either in communication or working on a project with Yusundo.
Right.
The legend, you know.
Right.
I was like, it would be such an amazing thing to get these two guys on the track, you know. So I pitched it to Burna. Burna was down with it, and he recorded his part, but we weren't able to get it to Yusundo because I think he started touring, and you know that just didn't happen anymore.
Right.
So the record got shelved. Yeah. Then I started working on my own project because I wanted to put out a project of which it didn't come out anyways. I wanted to put out the project of like 5 tracks, and I had revisited that track, and I called TMX. I'm like, bro, I want to reproduce this thing. Do you mind if I do some changes on it? He was like, no, don't mind. Do whatever you want to do. So I took the sample and replayed it. So I deleted the sample and just got an instrument that sounded like the sample and replayed it so it's a bit more original.
Right.
You know, and scrapped the drums and everything else and just reproduced it, you know. And while this was happening, Burna was recording his album. The album that the African Giant album, yeah.
That had Yusundo.
Yeah. The recording was going on, and I think his management had reached out to me to say, look, so I had sent the track to them to say, okay, I want to put this track on my project. Yeah, I was trying to clear it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I think when he got to him and he heard it, he remembered that, oh, she did that record, you know. So like, yo, send it. So next time they reached out to me, they asked me to send in the stems, like, Burna wants to record this and they might also get a feature on it. So I'm like, yeah, cool, even better. You know, so you just have to come out through my project again. So I sent it to them, and the next time the management reached out to me, they told me, yo, there's a feature on it, and it's a big feature. I'm like, who's on it? They said they got Damian Marley on it.
Wow.
I didn't lost my mind because Damian Marley is one of my favorite artists.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, let me hear it, and then they sent it to me. I listened to it. It was bonkers. And then you're like, that's not the end of it. There's one more person we're going to get on this track. Another legend. I'm like, bro, you guys are trying to kill me or what? So next time I heard it again, Angelique Kidjo had a verse on it. It wasn't it. So it's Burna, Damian Marley, and Angelique Kidjo on one song.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah, it was I mean, so that was like that's how that collaboration happened. It was GMK, TMXO, and myself that produced that song together.
Right.
Yeah. So that and I'm quite open to, there's a bunch of producers that I've worked with, I've collaborated with, and there's a song by Western called "Wait for Me,"
right,
that I produced with Progression.
Right.
Yeah, we collaborated on that as well.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of songs.
Progression is another.
Yeah, Progression is one of he's one of the best producers out here, man. Yeah. There's a bunch of songs I've done that I've collaborated on. I'm very, very much open to collaboration.
Nice. For the benefit of young, aspiring would-be producers who are looking at you as their role model and they want to kind of obviously embark on that journey because of the success someone like yourself has had, what sort of advice would you have for that person who's just starting out?
I would say just be very patient with yourself, man, because a lot of times I've seen people, even with artists, it's the same advice I would give artists and producers as well. For producers, be very patient with yourself. You can't go from learning how to produce to searching for an A-list artist to produce. I understand you're trying to get your work out there as much as possible, but make sure you're ready for the market before you put yourself in the market. You have to be ready before you put yourself out there. Just take your time. Develop yourself, develop a sound for yourself. Make sure you are confident in your sound. and then you can, rather than shopping for your beats for artists, find one artist, even if it's an upcoming artist, it might even be your friend. As long as they're talented and they're really good, it's always good to build with one artist. You know, the artist can get your sound out there. The artist can even be the next biggest artist in the world. You know, but you have to build with somebody. It's easier to build with one person who is gonna help. That person is literally gonna market your song, your beats for you. You don't have to. But if you go around shopping your beats, the probability that someone is gonna hear it and be like, oh, I like it. It's a probability. But with one person, you're sure this guy is gonna release his music. It's gonna be out there, and you can keep building with this person, and you're gonna keep getting better with that person because with every song you guys produce, you're understanding his style, you're understanding his music, and you make better music with that person. That will help you get better as a producer. And then with that, you can now transition and replicate that with everybody you work with.
And the business side of it as well.
Make sure you have a good manager that has good intentions for you. You know, that also doesn't see you as a cash cow. Because there's a lot of people out there who claim they're managers. They're not really managers.
They milk what they can.
Just find a talent, and they know that I'm just gonna make money off of this person. You know, but you have to find someone who's really, really ready to build with you, and really loves what you do as much as you love it, and see the vision as well. And get yourself a good lawyer as well.
Amazing.
It's very, very important. Get yourself. It doesn't matter how expensive the lawyer. The more expensive you get the lawyer. Very important. It's very, very important to cover the legal, ends of everything.
Because this industry is cutthroat.
Yes.
Yes. A lot of sharks out there, you know.
So you've been listening to the Commissioners Podcast in conversation with Choppa.
Yes, sir. That's my new name.
No, Choppa. Yes.
It's got a ring to it, you know. I love it. I'm disowned Chopstiiix. I'm calling you Choppa.
I'm probably going to change my handle now.
I need credit to remember.
So we will be rounded up soon, but I want to touch on you mentioned one interesting point about the project, working on the project. For a long time, I thought maybe you would have done that with someone like Ice Prince.
Oh yeah, no, I did albums with Ice Prince.
Like lock it in and do So you have a lot of productions.
Yeah, we have albums now. We have EPs we've done together, and even the album that Aboki was on, I did a couple of tracks, and then Everybody Loves Ice Prince. I produced executive produced the album, and also produced a bunch of songs on the album as well.
So when you do the last, is the Mani one, didn't you do the whole album?
What one is that? Everybody Loves Ice Prince.
That's Eli.
That's Eli.
But there's the other one. It's a Mani. Can't remember the name of that album.
What was that? Well, no, sorry. Everybody Loves Ice Prince was I produced one track on.
And then there's another, the second album.
Yes, that's the one I produced. That's the one I co-produced. I produced with it.
That's the one. Yeah.
Because what such
that's Five of Zamani you're talking about.
Five, that's it. I know there was Zamani in the album. Yeah.
So with like such productions, you know, you work for some time and then go for as the consumers, we think, oh, you've gone your separate ways. Because maybe what happens between that period? Is it like let's take a time off and just cool off, or maybe recalibrate, or what is it that makes an artist and a producer that you've had such success with, you know, maybe just cool things off a bit?
Just thinking about it now, I think it's for different reasons, to be honest. Some might fall out, some might just be trying to chase the other personal goals as well. But with every artist that I've worked with, we're still connected. You know, we still work. I have a song on every Ice Prince album. Even for the last one he just dropped, I produced a song on. Yeah, I've produced a song on every Ice Prince album. Every album he's ever dropped, I've either produced one track or a bunch of songs on the album project. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, and we still talk till tomorrow, till today, till whatever. Like we're all with every artist I've worked with. That's why I've not worked with a bunch of people. I've worked with a couple of people, and I've done a bunch of records with a few people, and I've managed to stay connected to those people.
It speaks to you and who you are as a person, to be honest with you. If you are able to maintain those long relationships, it's a lot, to be honest. Not many people.
Yeah, it's because we connect on a different level.
Yeah, a lot of people go through people, if that makes sense. You go through people. People are just another person they just go through to get to the next person to get to the next person.
Yeah.
So what you find is they're all over the place.
Yeah.
But for someone who's able to kind of maintain a long relationship despite the success, the trials or the tribulation one has had, and you're able to maintain that, it speaks to you and who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And that's why I've always I've wondered and I've looked at you and said, how are you able to kind of, despite this whole thing going on, but you are the grounded person, that's able to do this, without getting caught up with everything.
Oh, yeah.
As an artist, I'm sure you call that patience.
Of course.
That's right.
Yeah, you weren't here when we were talking about it. We were talking about the patience.
If you pay with oil, you have to wait for it to dry. Oil takes forever to dry.
Cool.
So you have to be patient. It's very important.
And it's an art form as well. Patience is an art form. Not many people have that art. Art is being patient.
Very. Yeah.
But it's been a real pleasure having you. And it's been a real pleasure finally sitting down with you. Since 2016, we've been wanting to have this sit-down conversation. But I mean, the beauty of it is that since 2016, a lot has happened. So we had a lot to discuss.
Yeah.
So it's just great to see you going from strength to strength. And I'm sure we'll have you back again.
Of course.
Next time that you're in town,
Of course. Just let me anytime, man. Like this is the type of interviews I love. Like just to talk about very important things that actually matter.
Definitely.
like we always say, we don't care what happens in your bedroom.
I'm sure.
We're about the three E's: education,
empowerment,
entertain.
That's it.
We make sure we cover those essentials, and having somebody who literally you can have a jam, a whole rave with just chopsticks.
I put this long list of, I've got it somewhere. I saved this long list of songs you've produced. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, some of the tracks that you don't even. And I mean, now you can hear the artist reference your name and stuff, or maybe a low tag here and there, but most of the time is defined by the sound itself, the crispiness of it.
I used to have a tag, but I stopped using it. At some point I was like, okay, I'm not going to be using tags because we're using tags because we just wanted to get some form of visibility. So that when people hear I hear the tag, but I want the actual song to be the tag. When you hear the song and it sounds.
So have you now taken out your tag completely from songs?
Yeah, I don't use tags.
The artist mentioned it.
So the last song I had my tag on was Kilometer at the end of the song. I put at the end, not even at the beginning. So
Right.
Yeah, the last song didn't have my tag on it.
Okay.
Yeah, the record is the tag. Once you hear it and it sounds, you will know that okay, this is.
Yeah, it's a bit. So I think it's also the beautiful thing about it is that the discovery of who you are is also an interesting thing because people will now have to go and say, who did that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when they discover who you are, to them it's like a revelation.
That's the best part, And working with my brother and one of my favorite artists, Moogies, that was
Moogies is so talented.
He is super talented.
So talented.
Because I remember when he was in this is years ago, I think 2010, thereabout. And it was like, he was a rapper.
Yeah.
And he started off as a rapper.
Yeah.
It's like, see, when I go back, I'm going to focus on the singing.
Yeah, whenever a rapper transitions into singing, it's about to be a problem.
And melodies, I don't think anybody can touch it.
Yeah, no, Moogies is on his own lane.
We had them, didn't we?
So this is what this is the bit I always get confused was because Mookie is the producer to R2B's.
No, he's the artist.
He's the artist, yeah.
So Kill Beats the producer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So it's two of them though, isn't it? Because we had the both of them.
But for them, For me, I've always seen R2B's as a trio.
So it started as a trio.
Okay.
When they released their first hits, the Adimat, they used to be a trio.
Gotcha.
And then became Boogies and Payday. Omar Sterling, yeah. They're actually cousins. They direct cousins. So the family. And then Kill Beats was the producer for them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they started off from I think Kill Beats was in the church as well.
The church has played.
The church they play
a big part in people's lives.
Yeah, it is.
So I mean, I was the first DJ here to break their records.
Right.
You know, one of my friends, Mark, I went to boarding school with in Ghana, young Sam. He came back one day, at that time I was on the pirate radio, and he was like, T, I've got a song that you need to listen to. This was their first demo.
Right.
So I heard it, I'm like, you know what, connect me to these guys. And that was how the
rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history. So anytime they come here, I mean, they come home and, you know, sit down like, you find you. And if I go to Ghana the same way, it's become, we talk off record, like, play me some stuff. And they have more music
off record.
that is never,
But is that the case though? Having you, your producer, you've got more records that never seen the light of day.
We call the hard drive records. Yeah, it's
But why though? Why?
It's so many things, so many factors.
a whole hard drive of just records on records on
How, if
records.
you had to put a number to that, would you say like they're in their hundreds, or would you say that they're like 20s?
Nah, they're probably in the thousands now. Yeah, because
Should have actually break so we've
listen, some you produce and it's just an idea and you leave it there. Some you've done is done. You finished it, artist is recorded, you've mixed a master, but you're like, no, I don't like it anymore. I want to do something better. I just
But don't the artists get mad at you? I mean, because I would be furious if I was. I feel like I've got a banger and you want to keep it.
no, mostly it's not my decision.
Okay.
So it might be the artist will be like, you know what, I think I can do something better, you know, and as you start to, you know, you can't feel a certain type of way about it. You just have to, you know, go with it. There's records that are also maybe can't come out because there's issues with clearing it.
Yeah.
And there's record that maybe you haven't paid the producer and he will hold it back, or there's just different issues, man. Yeah, but yeah, I promise you that there's records that are just there in the hard drives that the day they drop is just gonna be.
How some of them will never drop. Some of them is just R.I.P. Like it was fun while it lasted. The whole process was fun, but he's not going to see the light of day, unfortunately.
So who's an artist that you would like to produce for? Any genre, any artist. If there was one that you could produce.
Should we say Dead or Alive as well? Or,
Yeah, Dead or Alive.
Pop Smoke.
Okay.
or like a drill sound?
Or I don't even know what
You want to take him out of his comfort
I
zone?
don't know. I always like to go out of my comfort zone and the artist's comfort zone, or just like us to try something new. But Pop Smoke is one person that I would have loved to work with.
And the reason being?
I just feel like he just has a sound. Because when I pick an artist I work with, it's the sound of how they sound that, you know, catch my attention.
Okay.
Everyone can sing, everyone can rap.
Sure.
But not everyone has it. There's a tone. There's
Yeah.
a sound.
Nobody, not a lot of people connect with that.
Yeah, he's a sound, and that's he's got that thing, and you know.
But do you feel like he sounded, because some people kind of say he sounded like 50 Cent. It was like,
I was saying the vocal texture.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, boy, he's got his a whole style.
Because I don't know.
People liking him. People even say maybe it's like 50 Cent.
Yeah, I was just also because I think it's just two things. Maybe vocal texture and the accent. They're both Americans, so obviously there's like this possibility that they might just rap.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I feel like he's got his own sound. You know,
Right.
it was just such a lovely sound. You know, that's someone I would have wanted to hear more records from, not necessarily even produce, just to hear more music from. You know,
Because he changed the drill face.
He did.
The New York drill changed the face completely.
Yeah.
But just on top of what he asked, is there any track that you feel that you should have, like, I wish I produced this one?
One of the only times I felt that way was when I heard "Win of Feli Feli" by Don Jazzy.
Oh, wow, that's a long time.
I heard that song, and I'm like, whoever made this beat is not a human being. Yeah, because
But it's got that thing that you also like.
because I connected with the song instantly. The moment I heard it, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be everlasting banger. I just knew, and yeah, as soon as I heard it, I'm like, yeah, this is one.
This is the one.
Yeah, I really love that track. That's one of my favorite Don Jazzy production record. Yeah.
That track is, the start of the track. Because as a DJ, I'm sure Gabe will resonate with this. When you hear first 5 seconds, you know,
It's going to be a problem.
this is a problem, or move on to the next. Because you don't have the time to. Imagine if you go to a record shop, you've only just got a few minutes You want to listen as many as possible. So
absolutely.
Start of the track.
You already know.
Yeah.
So I'm buying this.
First few seconds.
That's all it takes for me.
Yeah. You know, you're good to go. Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, I loved every minute of it.
Thank you so much.
We could go on and on and on.
We all love our music, you know, and you know, when you have somebody who is sonically inclined, you know, who is not sonically challenged. Yeah, you know, and I'm sure London has become like your
second home.
Yeah, I thought.
How many times have you been?
I feel like I'm always here. I've been here this year like 3 times already.
Wow.
I'm basically always back here because I have a bunch of friends here. I have, you know, I come here just to also network, just to meet more new artists.
Yeah.
And then when I go back, I can do some stuff and send to them. And you know, really, sometimes can get in. I'll just even hang out just to get to know who I'm working with. Yeah.
We've added a new member to the collection now.
Exactly.
Free music in the building. What you say is,
come wave at the cameras, man. You can't give them a wave, man. Yeah, he's taller in person when you meet him. Yes, in the voice of Kicks. Yeah, whichever one you want.
And the cameras. No, you're looking behind. You look at the cameras that care, bro. That's what like it.
Like Kicks said, taller in person when you meet him. You know, it's about, you know, breaking the boundaries together and recreating the sound that, you know, that's why one thing I love about what the energy that Rema is putting out on his new.
Yeah, I love it.
That, you know what, let's take it back there. You know,
I love people that don't play safe. Like just do it, man.
That's when creation happens. When there are no boundaries.
Yeah, just do it, man. Don't overthink it. I'm trying to place it. I don't want to make something that people like. Nah, just create, man. Just do it.
He literally just went out of everybody's lane now. Yeah. He's on his own. You know, that Ozeba track, have you played it out yet?
No.
You haven't played out to
also, but also not a lot of people will connect with it. And that's okay.
That's totally. And that's what I've realized, that, you know, a lot of the sound that people feel when it comes out, you know, like, you know, because of maybe who they are or what they expect the artist to give us. Yeah. You know, even the producer in London, he went out like out of his, like you could feel that this.
Yeah, London is such a talented producer as well.
And to hear the sound and, you know, such a young man with such charisma, and
I agree.
You know, when the money is right, your confidence level is different.
It's not just about the money. When you've been doing it for a while as well, the confidence also plays.
You don't have the worry of payment.
It's true. No, that's a very valid point. Yeah,
that you're doing is
and you're not doing it. You are yourself. You're not paying. You know,
he doesn't care about money now.
Yeah, this is him just making art. Yeah,
he's good.
Like, I'm gonna make what I love to make. And this is
and I like that, you know, he's channeling his inner, you know, African energy and bringing the gods with him as well.
You know, I love it. I love the album.
I love the album. This year has been incredible albums, to be honest. Thames. You know,
Thames' album is such a beautiful piece of work.
You know, big shouts to Guilty Beats.
Yeah.
You know,
such a beautiful piece of work.
So are we ever gonna get that project from you? Just you on your own, Chopsticks, like
probably
5 songs, just exclusive.
I don't like the hard music. I'll just put it out. Yeah,
Will they have artists on them?
Yeah, of course. I will never see it.
But you see, but no, you know what I was going to say? Yes, we know that, but will they have? Yeah. Will you introduce us to artists rather than artists that we already know?
Of course.
Because I think a Chopstiiix project with artists that... Because you know what? I like what Alamide did with YungL because it made me know J Wills, it made me know Lado, it made me know Faze.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
And I think, you know, like a Chopstiiix production with talented artists that people don't know.
I think you have that currency. People pay attention.
Yeah, I've been doing that from time. I actually love to work with the next people. Like, it's good to work with like top big artists as well, but it's more exciting for me to work with a talented person that is not known yet.
Absolutely.
There you have the freedom to just do whatever you want to do and just make the best of what you want to make.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
So where can they find you? Your socials?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to change to El Choppa now.
No, honestly, I'm going to Choppa.
I hope if it's not taken yet, I'm gonna take that.
El Choppa.
El Choppa.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, on Twitter as well. I think those are the only 2 social medias I'm right for now. And maybe TikTok. I created a TikTok account, but I don't have anything on there yet.
Do you guys follow him on Twitter? Because he does some talks on Twitter.
Oh, no, so I write a lot on Twitter. I just say something. I just say things that as they come to me.
We have our own relationship with Twitter.
I have a very toxic relationship with Twitter.
I enjoy Twitter.
But as an observer, not as a participant.
No, I do tweet a lot.
Yeah.
Like obviously share music and things like that. I share posts about you that you don't even see because you're not even knowing. But then I like Twitter because, like you says, he tweets things from his head. That's how you get to know the artist, because they can't do that on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram
but you get to know a lot more about the artist because they tweet, like
things that you agree with, your thoughts.
Yes, and then you see where they're at. Because he doesn't just tweet music about music.
Yeah, I tweet about a bunch of stuff because I don't want it to. I want to be able to talk to people about other things, not just music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See what you're missing when you're not on Twitter.
Trey's not on there,
So the handle is CHOPSTIIX, 4 eyes. Chopsticks with an X. Yes. Because the actual Chopsticks page
never get that
was taken already by some lady. Even the Chopsticks company that don't have official page. So this lady has taken a Chopsticks handle, blocked everyone else who has a similar name.
Variation.
Because I tried to reach out to her to buy the account, and I searched, and I actually couldn't find it. So I searched with my friend's account who has a different handle, and I found the handle. And I checked, and she had blocked everyone, even the official page. She blocked. Yeah. Don't reach out to me. This is my page. I own it. Yeah,
she's out for the grudge.
So I had to add a few couple extra.
Well, now El Choppa will be there.
Yeah, hopefully someone hasn't taken El Choppa yet. So.
Good stuff.
It's been a
pleasure.
Nice.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And that's it, folks. Looks like we're signing out.
Yeah, a special thanks to George, my guy.
Shout out to George.
He's visionary.
Yeah. I've never met a happier man than that guy.
George has always been. This is why I actually like to hang out with him. He's just a happy person. And happy people, they infect you with happiness.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just good vibes. He's just an amazing person.
Yeah.
You can find him on social media as well. It's Visionaire.
I am going to look for him.
Yeah. We actually going to have him here.
Oh, okay.
He's a film director.
I look forward to him.
He's going to come because he's one of the out of the box thinkers.
Yes.
He can just be here in his creator, then maybe instead of this being this way, turn it the other way. Let's stand on it.
When you say George, you will know. Yeah, he's not right.
Yeah,
in the crowd of people, if you see him, you would know. Oh, that's George.
That's George.
Yeah, he stands out. Yeah,
he's like Big L. Flamboyant.
Entertainment.
Yeah. And then I like George. Yeah. He took me to one of the penthouses there. We did me, Silverstone, and a couple of DJs. So we filmed the sets there.
Oh, nice.
He comes out with like some creative stuff. And I like people like that, out of the blue. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's do it this way. Yeah. And he gave us the back scene. Yeah.
And on that happy note, we should sign out.
Yes, sir. It's been a pleasure having the Chopstiiix.
Peace.